going on, guys? Look, in this video, we're going to challenge some ideas because a lot of people out there have never been taught to look at these things from a deeper perspective. So we're actually going to talk about esoteric knowledge, alchemy, symbolism, sacred geometry, and some of the teachings that are attributed to Yeshua or Jesus, right? So I'm going to stop this video throughout to point out some things that I really think are important, okay? I'm not asking you to believe what I believe because that's just nonsense, okay? I'm asking you to think for yourself, investigate, go question the things that you've been told. Because if you're searching for truth, why would you be afraid to ask any questions? I mean, is it really crazy to think that we could have been misled about our religion? Not necessarily about God, but how we're supposed to understand God, worship God, and interpret the teachings that we've inherited. Yeah, but see, most of us were born into a belief system that was already established before we ever had the opportunity to investigate it for ourselves, right? We were told what certain symbols mean, what certain passages mean, what certain traditions mean, and we're expected to just accept those interpretations. But what happens whenever you actually start digging for yourself?
Have you ever realized that the same system that killed Jesus is the one that created a religion to talk about him? Jesus didn't come to be worshipped. He came to reveal something. A way of operating reality. But the system did something very strategic. It gave people ready-made answers, so they would never see the codes he left behind. And these are the main ones. If you have faith, you will move mountains. Faith is not belief. Faith is alignment. When there is no internal contradiction, reality reorganizes.
And this is where esoteric knowledge comes into play, okay? And look, esoteric doesn't automatically mean evil, demonic, or sinister, guys. It simply refers to knowledge that's understood to be a deeper or a hidden meaning, okay? You see, knowledge isn't always preserved on the surface, right? And that's where people need to stop allowing other people to tell them what something means without actually investigating it for themselves. Okay, if you see a symbol, okay, if you see a symbol, learn about it, research it, okay, understand its origins, understand its context, okay? Don't automatically label something evil because somebody else told you it was. It's not the way it works. And this is why alchemy fascinates me so much, okay? And look, most people hear the word alchemy and immediately think that somebody's trying to turn lead into gold. No, okay? There's a much deeper philosophical and symbolic tradition surrounding alchemy. It's transformation, purification, death, and rebirth. It's turning something lesser into something greater, right? And whenever you start looking at these concepts alongside ancient spiritual teachings, you start to see patterns that will make you wonder whether some of these stories contain layers of meanings that most people actually never explored themselves.
The Word became flesh. This is the process. Thought condenses into form. The invisible becomes visible. Mind becomes matter.
The Word became flesh. Really think about that for a second, guys. The Word, the Logos, right? Something expressed becoming manifested. And when you start studying energy, frequency, vibration, consciousness, and the way patterns can manifest physically, that phrase really starts making me look at the passage completely different, right? To me, this connects on a much deeper understanding of creation itself, because everything we experience physically is ultimately connected to three things: energy, frequency, and vibration. Yeah. These are the types of things right here that push me deeper into spirituality in the first place. Things like quantum mechanics and quantum physics, okay? They open the door for me to start looking at reality completely differently. Okay, and I'm not telling you that you need a college degree to explore these subjects, because you don't, okay? There's enormous amounts of information available to anybody out there that's willing to study themselves. But look, the more I've learned about the fundamental nature of reality, the more I started looking at ancient teachings through a completely different lens. And anybody that ever took this journey would say the same. This is why I love these subjects, like cymatic frequencies is another one, right? Because cymatics allows us to actually visualize the effects of vibration on matter itself. mind-blowing, right? You can take sound and vibration and create physical patterns. And whenever you start seeing these geometric patterns emerge from frequency, it makes you look differently at like ancient symbolism, sacred geometry, and the relationship between vibration and physical manifestation. Yeah. Look, I'm not asking anybody to blindly accept my interpretation. I'm asking you to go look for yourself. Seriously.
Whatever you ask, believe you have already received it. He wasn't talking about asking. He was talking about identity. Reality responds to what you already accept as true. And this was never about religion. It was always about code.
I mean, when Yeshua said, ask and you shall receive, that's another one that really stopped and made me think, guys, because what if there's more to that statement than just simply asking some external God for something? What if it's teaching and pointing towards something happening within the individual? Like intention, commitment, belief, consciousness, creation, right? And you have the teaching about believing that you have already received what you asked for. What? That's a very different concept than simply hoping something happens. Tell me I'm wrong. And look, guys, before anybody out there gets upset with me, okay, I'm not asking you to believe anything that I say here. In fact, I'm telling you quite the opposite, okay? Don't take my word for it. Don't take your pastor or your priest's word for it. Don't take your parents' word for it. Don't take some random person on the internet's word for it either, okay? Investigate, study, read, question. Because if you're truly searching for truth, you shouldn't be afraid to investigate the things that you've been told are off limits. Just saying. And that's really the point of why I do this here, okay? I'm not trying to tell anybody what God is. I'm simply trying to get you to ask questions of what they told you God is. There's a big difference, okay? So I'm not trying to destroy anybody's faith. Please believe me. I'm trying to encourage people to think for themselves because maybe, just maybe, the greatest form of spiritual awakening isn't finding somebody else who can tell you what to believe. Maybe it's you having the courage to investigate for yourself and also follow that truth wherever it may lead you. Well, you know the deal. Stay curious, stay enlightened, and always smile. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.
Yo, got the sound.